This episode is powered by Fuse Energy. Winter is all about energy. Switching on Christmas lights, warming your home for a cozy night in, keeping the TV on for all the festive fixtures.
And Fuse keeps things simple thanks to their fixed rates, cheap tariffs, and 24/7 support.
Better yet, Alan, Fuse is the fastest growing energy company in the UK, and you can play a part in building the infrastructure for clean, affordable energy by referring land to Fuse for renewables development. Not only will you claim your place on the starting lineup of the clean energy revolution, you can earn a £2,000 reward by referring 20 acres or more of land to Fuse for solar projects.
They're building a system that proves renewable power can be affordable, scalable in practice, and accessible to everyone, not just an idea on a tactics board.
For more information about land referrals and energy powering the full festive fixture list, head to land@fuseenergy.com. Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Mike Richards, Alan Shearer and me, a slightly croaky Gary Lineker. Happy New Year, everybody. And boys, I'm going to ask you to do most of the talking on this particular podcast, but let me explain what we're going to do, because obviously it was a strange week in terms of the fixtures. There were lots of matches on Tuesday and then matches on Thursday. So we're recording two separate goes because Mike is working on Thursday night. We're doing this on Wednesday morning following the Tuesday games. So we thought we'd do it chronologically, and then we'll discuss. Alan and myself will jump on after the games on Thursday night, so that it's all fresh for you on Friday, which is for you today if you're listening on Friday. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
What have you got, Gaz? What's up? Have you?
I've had a cold for a little while, and as it always does with me, eventually it goes to my voice.
Are you sure it's not too much alcohol?
I wish. I wish. It might be something to do with it. But
Have you had your flu jab?
Oh, you have to at my age.
I was just about to say that. Make sure your heating's on, you get your allowance as well, you know, at your age.
Oh, bless you. Thanks very much, Al. So considerate.
Sorry.
My time.
Hope you're okay.
I'm okay. You can't be doing this when I'm on the 18th, Al. I just might keel over. Then you'd feel guilty.
I would yeah.
How are you two?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All very good, thanks, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good as well. Feeling great. Feeling energized. New year. Big
2026.
plans. Come on.
Big plans. What are your plans? There's a World Cup. That's our plans. Netflix and all.
Cup, yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Very much looking forward to that. But a big game obviously was played on Tuesday night. Arsenal and Aston Villa, and it felt like a little moment there where, I don't know, it's a bit harsh on Villa after the run they've had, but it felt like it is going to be Arsenal or Manchester City.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've never said anything different. Aston Villa have been amazing, but I always felt it was going to be between these two, and I guess it is City and Arsenal. And yeah, it was a great result. They kept on churning the results out without being brilliant, but they were brilliant, particularly second half last night, weren't they? The way they sort of stepped on the gas a bit and got the result, got the goals and all of that. So I think for them going forward, for their belief and for their confidence, especially with Declan Rice being out as well, I think that'll do them the world of good for the next few months.
I actually thought Villa were the better side in the first half.
Early on, particularly.
Oh, Nana down the central positions, Konsa coming out, Morgan Rogers, but just couldn't get the goal. I think if Watkins scores that, it could have been a different game. And then Arsenal in the second half, a little bit more tactically aware in the middle. Odegaard wins the ball and then they go and get the goal, don't they? So it was just a really good spectacle. Although I was disappointed that not everyone was fit. I would have liked to see Camara in there. I would have liked to see Declan Rice in midfield as well. But in terms of Arsenal, I think that was just a big one psychologically, because Villa have been a team which they've struggled against in recent seasons, and Emre, there's all this talk about who's a better coach. Emre's a magnificent coach, isn't he? But Arteta as well showed yesterday, although he's got a better squad, that he can mix it up at the right times. I thought the substitution of Jesus as well, he looks sharp again. He could be the difference between Arsenal winning a league and not. We've talked about Man City so much, but the squad, the strength and depth for Arsenal is just ridiculous.
2 centre-halves back.
Yeah, Gabriel particularly is a force, isn't he? I was talking to Harry last night when we were watching the game. If you had to pick one centre-half from world football, I think at the moment, I'd go Gabriel, you know.
Yeah, because he's good in both boxes, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's why. I think from set pieces, and I was going to bring him back into my fantasy last night as well. But
could have taken -4 because
just wait. Villa, Morgan Rogers is in great form. Just give it another week, and then he goes and gets the goal. I was devastated.
That desire to get on the end of balls coming into the box, set pieces in both boxes is amazing. Honestly, it's like for him, there's no fluke that the number of times that ball lands on his head, both defending and when he has to go up and attack his own corners. It is such a great skill, a great technique to have what he's got in both boxes is amazing.
Just want to pick you up on the Jesus comment there, Micah, saying he could be the difference. He's been there a long time. What makes you feel he could be different this time to perhaps what he was before?
Really good question, because with Jesus, obviously I watched him a lot when he was at Man City. And he never really was the main man, but he does so many things for the team that maybe go unnoticed. So his work rate, for one, his press, his ability to make his own chances, even though he's not clinical at times. When he first went to Arsenal, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable. He was unplayable at times. Then he got his injury, and when he come back, he wasn't the same. He got another injury, and then he come back, and he's just finding his feet. But now, with different options and not having to rely on him for the full 90 minutes as the main man. Now you've got Havertz. Now you've got Gyökeres. So he can manage his minutes and get the best out of him in the time that is required for when he's on the pitch. And that's why I think he could be the difference. I think he's got a little bit more quality. Not a little bit. I think he's got more quality than Gyökeres. Gyökeres is still finding his feet. And Arsenal in games this season, Gyökeres has had big opportunities and not taken them at times, where I feel as though you don't have to be a Haaland to take some of the chances that Arsenal are creating, but Jesus is good enough to take them chances, and now Havertz is back as well. So I think having the three options could just be the difference.
Yeah, and Moreno got that option as well.
Yep.
He's proven more than capable that he can fill that role as well. So, I think it was a huge result for them, confidence wise, right throughout the team. The fans, I think that's what they've been waiting for. Arsenal, they've been winning, but it's been edgy winning, nervous winning, But I think what they did last night will ease the pressure a little bit. I mean, obviously they still have to go out and win the games, but I think in terms of belief for them and for their fans, I think that was a huge game for them.
You mentioned Moreno. Was he slightly lucky to stay on the pitch for a second yellow? He could easily have had, couldn't he? It was 2-0 at the time. So yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I think he's fortunate. Do you, Micah?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it was a second yellow. That was that 2-0. It might not change the game, but I think it was definitely a second yellow, without doubt.
Yeah.
Be interesting decisions ahead now, isn't there, for Arteta, because he seems to be getting everyone back fit, which is a nice problem to have. I mean, I think we all know who are going to play at the back. Saliba and Gabriel's as good a partnership as you'll get. But that thing about who's going to play up front, who's going to perhaps play on the left sometimes. So he's got decisions to make. But I presume the Rice injury is nothing. It said just a knock, didn't it? Nothing too serious.
I think that's what he said, wasn't it? It's not
knock on the knee,
a long-term thing, yeah.
Yeah. So if they get him back as well, I mean, going into the new year, it's looking pretty good for them, I would say.
Oh, pretty. I mean, it's at top of the Champions League. It's at top of the Premier League. It looks as if they're getting everyone sort of back to full fitness and a full squad to choose from, barring one or two. It's looking bloody good for them, never mind pretty good for them. I mean, amazing what they've done this half of the season up to now in the Premier League and in Europe.
You know, one of the accusations a lot of people keep throwing at Arsenal is that it's all too nervy. Everyone's really nervous. But Al, you won the Premier League at Blackburn, and I won the Premier League at Man City. And everyone is nervy because when you've not done it, you feel as though, are you doing the right thing? Are you overthinking it? Are you going to get the rub of the green? So when you see, especially Arteta, who's animated on the side, and all the coaches, it's because they're up against one of the best ever managers in Pep Guardiola. The experience of Man City winging it, Liverpool dropping off, all the things, Man City not playing amazingly well at the start of the season, and now Foden's coming to his own, Shirky's coming to his own, Reinders is scoring again, Haaland is Haaland. So there is going to be that tension. And for those people saying Arsenal are overreacting with a win, the wins now are so important. And we was the exact same when we won the league. And people say you don't look at the table. You look at every facet possible. You look at the table. You look at the fixtures coming up, where you could get a rest in Champions League. Do you change the whole team? So this is all normal things that a team goes through. It's just, because Arteta's only won the FA Cup, the pressure seems to be mounting and mounting and mounting. And even if Arteta doesn't win a league this year, it only because he's up against a great manager in Pep. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, Arsenal fans want him to get him over the line, but the job from when he started to now, to have them competing, yes, they've spent a lot of money. Of course, they've spent a lot of money, but the goal was for them to compete for the league, and that is what they're doing.
How do we know they're feeling nervy, though? That's what I mean. For me, I watch them play and I don't see any nervous feeling. I think the nervous feeling is the supporters a little bit. When you're playing, you're just getting on with the game, aren't you? You don't think about that stuff. You might, 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, you might sit back, and they've done a lot of games where they've done that, but they're so good defensively. I look at them, I don't see nerves in that. I don't see nerves, particularly at this stage. I mean, we're only halfway through the season.
I think when you look at their result against Brighton, I mean, when they went 2-0 up and then all of a sudden Brighton score, and I think it was a bit of an edgy, nervy performance the last 20 minutes against Brighton. Same thing against Wolves, when Wolves went to the Emirates and they scored late on. Arsenal somehow found a way to win that. I think you're right, Micah, in what you say, but the real nerves don't come until about April time. When if you lose a game now, okay, you don't want to, but when you lose one in April, then it is an emergency, in terms of the team wise, and you haven't got any time to recover. Not that they want to lose one now, but if they lost one now, I know the noise would be louder. But the real nerves don't come until around April time.
So when did you have a specific game? Was it around the March, April time, thinking if we win that game, we can win the league? Was there any moments in your season that you thought that?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 games from the end, when we had Newcastle, I think it was, Blackburn beat Newcastle. We got absolutely battered, but we somehow won. I think that was the night we all thought, that's it now. It's nearly ours. But then it still wasn't over, of course. But you're right about, then it was Manchester United who were chasing us, as in Blackburn, and obviously we'd never won it before. We perhaps should have won it the year before. But the noise gets louder. The Fergie's putting pressure on. As I'm sure if these two are going head to head, Arsenal and City, the noise will get louder from Pep, because he'll know, he's been there. He knows exactly what it takes to get over the line. And Arsenal badly need that with Arteta, the time he's been there and what they've spent and what it would mean to that football club. So I think the pressure would become a lot bigger if it's still neck and neck as it is now in April time.
I think the interesting thing is, obviously, if Arsenal don't quite get over the line this season and maybe miss out on the league and the Champions League as well, and then the pressure will absolutely mount. But I mean, Mike, you've been in this position with a club that's been close, expecting to win it, getting building up, getting closer and closer, building up the squad like Arsenal have done, getting themselves into position. You've just got to make it happen somehow. haven't you?
Yeah, we was quite fortunate that we had a really good squad, so we could rotate the team, similar to Arsenal have right now. But there's moments in seasons which you need to go your way. I always remember, and I don't know if you guys remember it, United were leading. I don't know if it was 4-2 at home against Everton.
Yes, finished 4-4.
And Everton made it 4-4. And there was a game which we played against United and Vincent Kompany scored the header. We still had to go up to Newcastle, St. James's, the week before QPR. And that's when we won that game. That's when we sort of knew, obviously the QPR game the week later didn't end up that way. But I remember clearing one off the line at Newcastle and thinking, ooh.
I've won us the league.
In my head, I'm thinking that I didn't get credit for that. Yaya scored 2 on that goal and he got all the credit as he should have. But there's just certain moments with the swing, and Newcastle at 1-0, there was applying the pressure and they should have probably scored a couple of goals, and then Yaya goes down the other end and scores. And I think Arsenal just need one of those moments. When do Arsenal play Man City again?
Oh, Saturday, 18th of April. Right. In that nervous time that you mentioned, Al.
Yeah, it is. That's when it really matters, April time. That's when the pressure really is applied.
Micah, you mentioned there that, the games that when United dropped points against Everton when they were leading 4-2. Now, obviously, when I played, all the games were on television. You never saw other people's games. Yeah. So you'd be watching that game presumably on television and jumping up and celebrating.
Watching absolutely everything, guys. Jumping up, texting. I remember there was a game, I text Danny Simpson. I think he might have been playing for Newcastle. Was it Newcastle? Newcastle at the time, Newcastle. Or QPR, one of those. And he saved one off the line. And I text him saying, thank you so much. Thank you, seriously. And we went out one of the weeks after in Circle, I bought him a bottle of champagne and all them sort of things. Just because you just after them small little wins, because everyone talks about our season. And we only won our season on goal difference.
Yeah.
How mad is that? And City's goal difference was better than Arsenal's after yesterday's. I don't know what it is now. But obviously, Arsenal got +3 after the 4-1 win. But goal difference could be the difference as well. And Mancini always remember telling us, make sure you finish off the game. Make sure you finish. Scorers, when a team are vulnerable, go and score 4, 5, and 6. And that's what we tried to do. I remember we played United at Old Trafford. We won 6-1. And they got Johnny Evans sent off. And he said, go get 4 and 5 and 6. Don't just win because that could be the difference. Yeah. And ultimately, that was a difference in the end.
Arsenal have had an amazing 5 months. I mean, semi-final of a competition, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. It couldn't have gone any better for them, could it?
No,
I mean,
absolutely
been amazing. So they should attack 2026 with great confidence, I think.
Manchester United managed to get a point at home against Wolves. John, Wolves, great point. 3 points now going into 2026. You're on the way up. So producer John would be happy.
I saw Wolves. Every time I looked over the game, Wolves were on the counter-attack.
I think for United, that's a really poor result, isn't it? I mean, with all due respect to me, a team that's only got 2 points all season comes to your own place. They want to finish the year really well. Having had a victory, it was probably a really, a backward step.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've never got carried away with Man United. I don't think they're a good team anyway. And I think they've got a long way to go. I mean, they beat Newcastle. It was back to the wall, wasn't it? Newcastle, they just couldn't score. It was viewed as a big performance in terms of sticking together. He changed his system. But then for him to sort of go back to it against Wolves, who are bottom of the table, have got a dreadful, embarrassing record this season. And then to draw the game, it's a setback, there's no doubt.
I mean, they were missing a bit of firepower, weren't they? With no Bruno, obviously, Mbumo, Mount, Diallo, all missing. So I suppose they're probably a little bit of blunt up top. Cesc had a couple of chances. A couple of headers. I think one hit the woodwork. So, and one he really should have scored when he headed it straight at the keeper near the end of the game. It's not really happened for him, has it yet?
No. I'm trying to look at it and think he's gone into a really difficult situation, into an unsettled club. Hasn't been a regular, hasn't impressed at all when he has played. I go back to my point at the beginning of the season. I think both Arsenal and Man United have paid a lot of money for centre forwards that I think are good players. I'm not sure they're any better than that.
I think give him time. He
deserves time. He had an injury, didn't he?
Yeah, he had an injury. He will come good, but I have to agree with Al. I expected a little bit more, especially the clubs that you go into. These were supposed to be the finishing pieces to the puzzle, wasn't they? Gyökeres and Sesko. It's not quite happened for both of them. And we can mention the players that were out, and Buemo, Ahmad and Fernandes, but they still had enough quality to win that game, Man United, and Sesko being one of those players. But he looks a little bit lost in confidence. I think the way sometimes Man United play doesn't really help him in terms of he doesn't get that many chances. I think at times he is like a Haaland, where when he gets the ball in an attacking position, he's just expected to score, but he's not getting as many touches as he would like, because Man United at times, especially in the game yesterday when I was looking at the highlights of it or on the multi-view, they seem to be quite deep. So yeah, I think he will come good, but he's not showed anywhere as good as he's at the moment.
There's a silver lining here for Wolves. Only one team has ever had 2 points from 18 games in English Football League history before. And they survived. Now, if either of you can get this, who it was and when it was, you get top brownie points.
You know what? I should know this because...
No, you won't know this.
So, no, I should. I should. I don't know it, but I should, because someone said it on comms the other day.
And they actually survived. Newport County in 1970-71. There you go. It's almost a given now that Wolves will stay up, John. And guess who sent that stat to me?
John.
I love that optimism. You'll be fine. 55 years on, whatever it is. God, I remember that season.
Don't think that's going to happen, John.
I think it's a bit unlikely.
Yeah.
What was the Newcastle game like then, Alan? Come on, you and Tony were discussing it all through the match.
You
weren't happy for most of it, I have to say. You were a bit grumpy.
I was very happy for the first 10 minutes when Newcastle went 2-0 up, and I thought, here we go. But then give Burnley great credit. They came back into it, scored a goal. And then all of a sudden, it was Newcastle sat back. I mean, second half, I was thinking, goodness me, Burnley. They're playing really well. Newcastle, it was just attack after attack for Burnley hitting Newcastle. They hit the bar, had a couple of good saves from Nick Pope, a couple of missed chances. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on with Newcastle? Because it was a hard watch at times. And look, the most important thing was Newcastle getting 3 points away from home. They desperately needed that, confidence-wise, belief-wise, and all of that. So that's the big picture. But it wasn't an easy watch at times, and Newcastle were under huge pressure. So, and it was only, the 93rd minute, I think, Dubravka came out and made an error, and Bruno's made it 3-1. Then everyone, Newcastle supporter anyway, could relax. So, no, it wasn't a great watch, but 3 huge points for Newcastle.
How did it work with Visser, Gordon and Murphy, as opposed to Voltemade away from home?
It was Gordon, Visser and Harvey Barnes to begin with on the right-hand side, Barnes. And then Murphy came on second half. Visser, it was his first Premier League goal. It was a scrappy goal, 6-yard goal, which was great, which perhaps we didn't have that 6-yard threat at Manchester United. So he did well in terms of that. Gordon, for the first 15 or 20 minutes, did really well, helped set up the goal. But other than that, sort of faded later on in the second half. Yeah, plenty to work on, but for Vissa and his goal and confidence and all of that, then, and I guess for the 3 points for Eddie and the team, then, with their next 3 league games, I think, are Crystal Palace at home, Leeds at home, and then I think it's Wolves as well after that. So 3 big games for Newcastle coming up after a huge important away win.
Yeah, from what you saw of Burnley, got any chance 6 points adrift now?
I wouldn't think so. I thought they played well. They passed it around really well. One of their main players, Josh Cullen's out, I think, with a cruciate injury as well. So he's going to be out for a long time. No, I don't think so. I think Wolves and Burnley are as good as gone.
Excellent win again for Everton, going pretty well, particularly obviously 1 or 2 players out through AFCON, etc. So I thought they did really well. Garner went back to his old club and scored a goal.
I thought that would have been a really, really tough game for Everton, particularly after Forest and the way they played against City, because I was quite impressed with Forest against Man City. I thought they did really well. And I'd expected a tougher game for Everton, but fair play to Everton and to David Moyes. With what he's got there, he's just getting the most out of every single player there, David Moyes. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, Forest had a lot of chances, though. They probably should have scored a couple, yeah. The XG in the game, if I could say, the XG was 1.90, Al.
All right. Does that mean they should have scored just below 2 goals?
They should have scored at least 1.
Good maths there.
Give me half.
Well, they would have been beaten 2-1 then, wouldn't they, if they'd have scored 1?
Yeah, but it's the time. You all know with goals, it's the timing of the goal which makes a difference. Then the momentum starts. You know that.
Yeah.
I was buzzing for Barry.
Yeah.
That's a story from the game I took. Obviously, he's found it very difficult, him and Beto. So to get I think it's only his 2nd Premier League goal, but he works ever so hard for the team. And yeah, he could see it in his celebration, his smile after his interview after the game as well. He was absolutely delighted.
The fact that West Ham got a point at one point, they were leading obviously against Brighton. So West Ham are now 4 points behind Forest. So Forest kind of sneaking back down there. Can West Ham get out? And if they do, it'll probably be because of Bowen.
Did you see that? Did you see that game?
I saw the highlights.
It was ridiculous. So, Bowen scored amazing goal.
I saw the Welbeck Panenka attempt that hit the bar, which obviously I'm going to say this before you lot do. What kind of prat takes a penalty?
Especially after he just scored a good penalty just before that.
Well, yeah, but it was madness because Welbeck scores amazing penalty. And then, did you see Paquetá? Did you see Paquetá take down Dunk?
What was he doing? Yeah. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? I mean, it was a proper rugby tackle.
Oh my God. And then they missed the penalty. Then Paquetá goes and scores at the other end. A penalty. It was just chaos. It was madness. But then Welbeck gets a yellow card because who was it? Was it Fernandez who went up to his goalkeeper?
Fernandez, yeah.
And then gives him a little shove, didn't he? But he knew what he was doing. He's going to his goalkeeper, but give Welbeck a little shove. Then Welbeck gets a yellow card, so he could have had another goal, but he ends up missing a penalty, -2 points, and then gets a yellow card, -3 points.
Can I say in his defence here, not a defence of his technique, because obviously he hit it slightly too high. But I think that the actual Panenka was the perfect time to do it. You've scored one. You've scored one, knocked it in the corner. You know that the goalkeeper's going to dive one way or the other. There's no reason for him to suspect that you're going to try that.
Just hit it down the middle instead of fucking dinking it.
Well, if you dink it, there's less chance of it hitting the keeper's legs as he dives out of the way, because he will be out of the way by the time that. Now, the fact he just got it technically wrong, that was all. I don't think it was a bad decision, but it is in hindsight, I guess.
I thought it was a bad decision, him taking the second penalty. James Milner was on the pitch at the time. He's took so many penalties in his career. He scores them. The keeper's got an advantage because he knows, he knows what's going to go on. Is he going to go the same way or not? Like, there's more pressure on the taker to score 2 in a game.
But when have you seen this? It happens very, very occasionally. The person who's taken the first penalty and scores then doesn't take the second penalty. He's a centre forward. Can you imagine that? I'll tell you what, I'll take this one.
No, you got to share it out. You got to share out percentages. When you've got another good penalty taker on the pitch,
you're a goal scorer. You're not sharing it out.
Give it to Milner. Give it to Milner.
Wolves West Ham this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge.
Watch that from behind the sofa, John. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll discuss the games that were played last night. And it will just be Alan and me, because what you doing, Mike? Who are you working with?
Yeah, working with Sky. Got the 4 games. So Leeds, Liverpool. There is
in the studio, or?
Spurs in the studio, yeah.
Is it that stand-up studio where you stand in corners?
And Sunderland, obviously, Man City. That's going to be a great game. What did you say about standing up there?
No, is it the studio where you stand in different corners of it and look awkward?
Yes, it's that studio.
Very unflattering set. I would not be happy with that if I was working on it. It's just so weird. Everyone's over in different spaces so you can see the big screen. I mean, I love what Sky does, amazing stuff, but that does not work for me. For me, it's a personal thing. It just looks weird. Everyone looks so uncomfortable. Don't know what to do with their hands. The feet don't look real because it's virtual reality studio. It's looked like you're floating on something. It just looks so weird.
So what would you recommend? Where would you put your hands if you was to be up?
I don't know, because you feel really awkward because you stood there for so long. And when there's like 3, it looks like everyone's in a wall defending a free kick, but you've left too big of spaces in between the 2.
I actually I like it being a big screen and all the virtual. I think it's cool.
Well, that's fine if it's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's very cool. It's very cool. And it's nice to have the big screen. But I don't know. It's just not for me. But anyway, despite all the brilliance that they do. But everyone's always looking to try and do something slightly different from what people did before. But there you go. I've had my say. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the Rest is Football with Alan Shearer and just me, Gary Lineker. Now my voice has returned a little bit, Alan. Just to explain.
Better.
Yeah, sound a bit better than I did in the podcast about 2-3 minutes ago, which is remarkable. But obviously, we're now doing this segment of the show on Thursday night after the 4 games. There's a match of the day in a bit. There was 3 0-0s and a 1-1 on BBC Two. I don't think there'll be too many
Please,
people.
I'm not doing match of the day tonight.
Oh, it's a good one to miss. Rich, actually, the main producer, just sent me a message going, oh my God, 3 0-0s and a 1-1. But and you may have noticed in the first half we didn't talk about Chelsea, who played Bournemouth, and it was 2-2 on Tuesday night. Well, we actually did, but obviously that became somewhat dated because of the news of Enzo Maresca terminated his contract. So we thought we'd get rid of the bit that we talked about yesterday. I mean, it's a daft old game. You do realise, Alan, that he was manager of the month in November.
I mean, if you ever needed any evidence that football is crazy and stupid, then that is the exact reason why we think that. But I suspect he knew something, and when he went off-piste, I guess, maybe, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
2 or 3 weeks ago in the press conference, yeah.
We said then it was strange, and I guess he knew what was coming then, and he wanted to get his side out. I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at it. The first one is football is a mad game. You get Chelsea winning the Club World Cup, winning the Conference League, finishing in the Champions League. That's one way of looking at it, thinking, well, hang on, what more do you want? Because I don't think they're a great team, despite the money that they've spent. We've always said over the past few months that they're missing top-class centre-forward, top-class centre-half, maybe a top-class goalkeeper. But then the other way of thinking is the position that they're in, and you also know that whoever takes over Chelsea knows the rules of football. Yeah. And knows the rules of Chelsea. You can't complain going into that job knowing what they want and what they require, because it is very different, and it is a bonkers football club to any other club. Yeah, they do things totally differently, don't they? And in terms of, I don't think you get any say as the coach on, you're just a coach. You get these players, you deal with it, you get on with it, and we expect you to be super successful.
And they've got a kind of different view of the way they run football clubs than pretty much anyone else. They've done this unique thing with huge long contracts with lots of very young players. They've got a very young team as well. I've read quite a few reports from people that you would trust that suggest also there might be something to do with the fact that he's been perhaps sounded out and had meetings with Manchester City on the premise that maybe Pep Guardiola was going to leave at some point in the summer.
Whose side's putting that out? Whose side's? I mean,
well, I know, but I mean, it was a reasonable, respected journalist. So I don't know whether there's any truth in that. It said he'd met the Manchester City people twice. It might be Chelsea putting a bit of spin on it.
Yeah,
but I sort of agree with you, Alan. You know what you're getting into at Chelsea. It's sort of unique and has become more unique. I mean, it was pretty difficult even in the Abramovich days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You had to be super successful to stay in, but you did have a chance of lasting 2 or 3 years. Now it seems under the present incumbents that it's vastly different. But the talk is, I mean, I think Maresca will be fine. Maresca will get another job. He's an excellent coach. What he did at Chelsea was really good. I think it's a strange decision overall. I'm not overly surprised like you, but I think it's a strange decision. I think he'll walk into a very good job somewhere. A lot of talk that Liam Rosenior will be brought in. I think he's heavy favourite with the bookmakers. I don't know if there's any truth to that. He coaches at their sister club, doesn't he? Strasbourg, who are currently about 7th in Liga. He was at Hull before that, was Wayne Rooney's assistant at Derby for a little while. I actually worked with him once were you doing that show we did so at Millwall? And he was in the studio a few years ago. Really nice, really very impressive tactically.
Yeah, I mean, but doing that to doing Chelsea is a different,
totally different
animal. But when I look at the big picture of Chelsea and who and what they are at the minute, I'm not sure they're any better than where they are.
No, I don't think you could do better with what you've got, really, because you've got a very, very young side.
We know what their model is. Their model is to buy young, give them long contracts, develop, and then maybe sell them on for a big profit. I don't know. I think he's done as well as anyone could possibly do at that football club, given where they are and who they've signed.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
I think they've won the Conference League, they've won the Club World Cup, they've got into the Champions League. They're currently 5th. I'm not sure they're any better than where they are, and I would think he's done a really, really good job. And I suspect his rant 2 or 3 weeks ago was exactly what he knew was coming. He knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get it out first and his side of the story to say this is as well as we can do with what we've got. Because we've said it ourselves over the past few months. They've spent God knows how much. And I don't think they've got a top-class centre-forward, a top-class centre-half and a top-class goalkeeper. And for him to have won what they have done and to be where they are, I don't think they could have done any better. Do you?
No, I really don't. I really don't. I think he's done an excellent job.
Yeah, me too.
And that's why I said I think he'll definitely walk into a very good job at some point. Who knows where that'll be. Yeah. Elsewhere, they've done four games, 3-0.
I wouldn't like to be doing match of the day this evening with 3-0-0s.
It would be a tough one, wouldn't it? Yeah. Although I watched the 2-0-0s that were on the main games. I watched Liverpool and then I watched the Manchester City game. So you got to give a shout out. I mean, it wasn't quite happening for either City or Liverpool, but I mean, well done Sunderland and Leeds. Really, really gritty performances by both teams that were promoted last season.
Yeah, I mean, I saw more of this Sunderland game. I did expect Man City to go there and win because with the players that they've got away, Sunderland, and 1 or 2 injuries and etc., I just thought that in the form that they're in, I thought Man City would go there and win, but no one's gone there and won. So yeah, a really good result for Sunderland, thoroughly deserved it. Yeah, and same thing again with Leeds going to Anfield. I thought Liverpool would win against Leeds, but 2 really good performances and good point for Sunderland and for Leeds.
Yeah, there's a list of the teams that are unbeaten in home matches in the Premier League this season, and there's only 2 teams on it. Arsenal, and Sunderland. I mean, you can see why. I thought, they even had one or two chances in that game. I mean, I know City dominated it, particularly in the second half, and they couldn't find a way through. But there was still a threat on occasions.
As much as it pains me to say it, I thought Sunderland were well worthy of their point. And
do you know what they've got? They've got results this season, not all victories, but without no defeats against Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Aston Villa.
Yeah, and Newcastle.
Incredible.
They've been brilliant. I think you've got to say well done, Sunderland, for the way they've set up, for the fans that they've been in their home games. For any team going to Sunderland, know that they're going to have to play their best game to go away with anything.
Before we go, just it's obviously a nice little swing towards Arsenal this midweek.
Yeah, it's been a good week for Arsenal, hasn't it? Yeah.
If you'd have said at the start of it, they're facing Aston Villa and Manchester City have got Sunderland, you'd have thought it might twist the other way, but it didn't.
No, it's been their week. But you know as well as I do, it's in a month's time we'll be saying, "Oh, what a great week for Man City" or whatever. It's you know how it works, but the minute it's been a great few days for Arsenal, but it wouldn't surprise me in 3 or 4 weeks' time if it will. That's what will happen because that's the way it works. 1 week we'll have Arsenal being great result, City being great result, but it's been Arsenal's week this week.
Yeah, certainly has. A few twists and turns to come. There'll probably be some at the weekend as well. There's another full fixture list, and we'll be back with our usual episode on Monday. But for now, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Cheers.